Okay. It is 4 p.m. Pacific time, and in the interest of everyone's time, I say we get started. Thumbs up? Yeah? Cool. Thank you, everyone who came to learn a little bit about the Huayhuash circuit in the Peruvian Andes. I'm Carrie O'Callahan. I'm the Director of Travel and Logistics for Embark Exploration Co. And I happen to wear a lot of different hats for our small company, but one of my favorite hats to wear is to talk a lot about Peru. I love Peru. I love being deep in those mountains, and there are some for reals mountains in Peru. I think I've been like 7 times in the past 5 years. I'm super in love with it. Super in love with the Huayhuash region, and so really excited to share with you a little bit about our trip that we have there. So getting started, I wanted to kind of get us started off on the right foot with a little video. Most people come to Peru because they want to see Machu Picchu, but what they don't know is that it ends up being kind of a side note to the amazingness that is Embark's treks in the mountains of Peru. So I have a video that is actually like 3 minutes long. I'm going to cut us at about a minute in, but it'll kind of set the stage for what to expect.
Guys, there's mountains on this side too. Way. I am absolutely loving hiking so high because you're just in the mountains day after day after day. This you cannot beat. If you guys think this is beautiful, you should see Iowa. This is a mist created by a huge avalanche into the lake. Oh, it's snowing! It's amazing. I have a friend who I'm bringing back from the Huayhuash. We've acclimated to the altitude, and the views are spectacular. Every single place I look is a vista that I just can't believe I get to see. So when we talk about hiking ROI, like how worth every footstep is, this thing knocks it out of the ballpark. This is such a great hike.
Okay, so that gets us started off a little bit about some imagery and what you can expect. It's fun, it's involved, it's the whole meal deal. But backing us up a little bit, just kind of high-level facts about trekking in Peru. The seasons, everybody wants to know when's the right time to go. So Peru is equatorial, which means that you're talking wet season versus dry season, and the dry season in Peru is April through about October. Right kind of dead in the center of those open months is July. That's when it's the driest. It's also when it's kind of the coldest, especially at the upper elevations that we travel in. You do need a mandatory 2 to 3 days to acclimatize for any of our Peruvian treks. It is high altitude trekking, and you need to let your body have time to adjust. And because of that, we say that you need a minimum 9 to 11 days in the country just to really kind of go into it and get the experience that Peru has to offer and that you would want out of it. All of these treks, including the Huayhuash trek, is totally non-technical. You're not going to be doing any ropes or harnesses or ice axes or any of that stuff. You're just walking. Huayhuash is definitely off the beaten path. It is a very far cry from the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu, where you've got 500 people on that trail every single day. Much more remote, lot of solitude. And it just is really like deep in a very kind of obscure mountain range in the best way possible. It is a huge mental and physical challenge because it's a long hike and it's at high elevation. Again, with the acclimatization, that's why it's important to acclimatize. You should expect to be hiking anywhere from 6 to 8 hours per day, just depending on what the day has for us in the group pace. This is a hike that is supported with pack animals as opposed to porters or Sherpas in other parts of the world. And that also comes with that we always have a horse with us when we hike, just in case somebody wants some extra kind of assistance on any one given day. There is a horse there. What's unique about this itinerary as opposed to climbing a high mountain is that each day has a high pass, or sometimes two high passes that you go over. So every day has its own obstacle and then its own subsequent reward, which for me personally, I love. Every single day I have something that I'm looking forward to, looking to kind of surmount and get through. And it's a really kind of involved, captivating way of hiking, if you can think of it that way. So Embark runs a number of different treks in Peru, and I just put this slide in here to kind of make the point that these are all the treks that we run in the Cusco region, and then this is the only one that we run out of the Huaraz region. And I'll get into the map and where we're talking about here in a second, but just to show you that this is considered more of an elite status trek. It's longer, higher, more arduous and compared to the other trips that we run. And some facts kind of about this specific trip. And kind of along those lines is we do give it a trek rating of a 4+ out of 6. What does that mean? That means that if a 1 was, say, glamping and day hikes in New Hampshire, and a 6 is a full-on Aconcagua, 7 summits kind of experience, this rates at about 4+ out of those 6. That's because of the duration of the trek. It's a 13-day trek that you're camping, so you're not staying indoors, and the elevation. So then moving on, this takes place in what's called the Huayhuash mountain range in the northern Peruvian Andes. It is actually not anywhere near Machu Picchu. It is kind of an obscure location, like I said before. Huayhuash, the name, that's how you pronounce it. And the way that I remember how to pronounce it is that you're so long on that trip and so deep in those mountains. Huayhuash? Huayhuash. Why do it? You're already in it. You do cross 7 passes. Each one is at least over 15,000 feet. I think the tallest one is 17,000 feet. And it is 60 miles in total. This is the region that we're talking about. This is Peru. You're gonna fly first into Lima and then up to Huaraz. That is our base. And then outside of Huaraz is, just south of Huaraz, is the Huayhuash range. And this is the map of the route. We are going to start here in Matacancha, and then we wind our way this way over the mountains, and you can see each of these little markers is a high pass. So almost every single day you have a high pass. This day you have 2 high passes, and you wind your way completely, almost doing a full circuit, and then we end up in Pocpa and then drive back. This is kind of an itinerary overview of the way that the itinerary is put together, where we've got 3 nights in Huaraz. And that includes 2 separate days of acclimatization hikes. Very, very important. Then we head out to the trek, and our starting elevation is at about 13,700. We start you up pretty high and you end pretty high. In between there, we're getting up high on those passes and coming down. We're trying not to sleep below 14,000 feet on purpose, because once we get you up there, as the woman alluded to in the video, you're kind of staying high, and that's the way you want it. You want to get your body acclimatized and then stay up in those upper elevations. So we're never dipping below about 14,000 feet. So we have our circuit that we do, ending at about 11,360, and then we have our one last night back at the hotel that we stayed in at the beginning in Huaraz, where we gift you with a wonderful hot shower and a nice bed before you fly out. A little bit about Juarez. Our family spent about a month there a couple years ago. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It is a hiker's haven. It's kind of got like an international feel to it. There's a lot of hikers, mountaineers, rock climbers from around the world who coalesce in that mountain in that town because the mountains around it are for reals. It's where we base ourselves. It's located at 10,000 feet, which is perfect. It's a place for rest and hydration. And like I said before, that's where we run our acclimatization hikes out of. It's a really cool town. It's got a good vibe to it. It's different than Cusco, which is our other base for our other treks. It's a lot less kind of touristy in a really cool way. It's a lot more outdoorsy. This trek is considered a fully supported camping expedition. For those of you who've never been on something like that, what does that mean? Basically means you're totally spoiled. All of our camp gear is transported and set up for us ahead of time. You arrive in camp, your tent is set up. We have a big mess tent that's already set up. All of your meals are cooked and prepared for you every single day. You're just in charge of your day pack for the day. And there are bathrooms at every single camp. And just some imagery of what to expect. That's our mess tent. And then if it's nice, we sit outside. What you can expect at a morning breakfast with the gorgeous sunlight and the really nice, crisp, clean air up at those higher elevations. And then our 4-season 3-person tents that we use for 2 people. On the way, we've oftentimes have our lunch on the trail, and a lot of times it's a hot lunch prepared for us by our cook who travels with us throughout the day. So he hikes a little bit ahead of us, and all of a sudden we come around a corner and he's got a 4-course meal for us in the middle of our afternoon up in the 14,000, 15,000 feet in the Andes. He's amazing. These are cooks who travel with us, who work for us. This is their profession. It is not a side job. It is their passion, and they're very well versed and knowledgeable and experienced at putting out some of the most amazing food that you won't even believe that they can do out in these remote parts of the world. This one on the right, this image on the right, is a traditional in-ground barbecue. It's called a pachamanca, and we make sure to have at least one of those on the trip, where they dig a big hole and light a fire, and they basically barbecue all of our food underground and then unearth it, and it's the most gorgeous, beautiful meal you've ever had. Moving on to just some more imagery of what to expect deep in the Huayhuash Mountains. There is this beautiful video of hikers deep in these mountains. You just can't even believe the amazing imagery. And then finally, even though I said before that this is not anywhere near Machu Picchu, most people, when they do the Huayhuash, they tack on a visit to Machu Picchu afterwards, because it's only an hour plane flight from Lima, so it's actually quite easy to get to. And why not? Because you're already there. Finally, some kind of what you can expect from us if you go on one of our trips. You can take advantage of our over 20 plus years of experience running adventure hikes around the world and over a decade of running hikes in Peru. We've had the chance to get a pretty comprehensive list of pre-trek informational materials that includes gear lists, training plans, video tutorials, you name it, we've got it. We really kind of take pride in walking you through step by step every part of the process. Part of that is at least 2 group conference calls prior to the trip. One comes at 6 months prior. It's a chance usually for the group to kind of get to know each other and for us to impart some further details about the trip on you and to remind you that you do need to train for the trip, and also you need to pack and gear list and all that. So we get kind of deeper into it, and that's in that 6 month call. And then separately, about 1 month out from the trip, we have a send-off call, just to kind of tidy everything up, make sure that all of our I's are dotted and T's are crossed, make sure you're feeling kind of properly supported going into a big trip. We are personally a pretty small company. That means that we are pretty agile and able to be pretty hands-on. We're very responsive, super passionate. And we really like to provide hikers with that personal kind of hand-holding that we know you might need for such a big trip. So that's kind of what you can expect from Embark. And just kind of final things to remember about, trekking in this region and Peru in general is that this is a non-technical but high elevation hiking, and therefore acclimatization is really important. You do need, on average, 4 to 6 months of training prior to the trip, just kind of depending on where you're at in your personal fitness when you join, but at least 4 months to train. And you need 6 to 9 months to plan because it is a big trip. Finally, remember that it is a challenge and it is long, hard days and it's arduous, but it also is super fun. And this is my family being silly with a dog, a trail dog.
Petey the pirate dog, the pirate dog, the pirate dog. Petey the pirate dog, he's come to play with you.
Sometimes elevation gets to you, you guys. Okay, so 2026 dates and details. We are accepting applications for a particular date range, which is September 19th through October 1st. However, we can organize custom trips anytime in that April through October timeframe if you have your own private group or you yourself want to go privately. Our prices start at about $31.25. That's for a group of 6. It costs more if there's less people and less if there's more people. Right about now, like it being December and specifically for that September date, you will want to sign up as soon as you can so that you have enough time to kind of prepare and train and get all of your gear and all of that good stuff. So that is enough from me. I am available for questions. And also, Michael Donovan, you have a very wonderful, responsive look about you, and thank you very much for laughing and smiling.
Oh, my question is Carrie. I mean, the elevation is obviously, a major deal, but the trails in the video look pretty well maintained. So, in an era of climate change and perhaps some extreme weather during the rainy season, whatever, what's the overall picture of the trails? The quality. There's much scrambling along the route, or no?
No, there's no scrambling. There's no hand over foot rock, any kind of stuff like that. There's not any scree or anything. It is a very well maintained trail. These are ancient kind of locals trails from Highlanders who live out there and a subsistence farm out there, so they're well worn. And it is now a national park, so they are well maintained also.
That's great info. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie, are those dates the September date arranged? Is that what y'all do annually, or are there other times that you do something? What would be a traditionally like summertime for the United States?
Yeah. So typically, what we like to run is a June and a September trip. However, we can put together any date within April to October that people might want according to their schedules.
But next year, that's the only period of time that y'all have something going on.
That is the only set departure at this moment. If you, Steve, wanna, sorry, I called you Steve, even though your name on the screen is Steven. If you want to
Yes.
start your own date and then we try and fill people into it, we're totally willing to do that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Why? Are you thinking of a different time frame?
Well, I'm thinking that my wife is going to want to go, and she's a school teacher, so summertime is really the only time that she would be able to take that period of time off
Yeah.
um, during the year.
Yeah, we're totally willing to start up a second date frame according to your needs and then fill people in on that.
Okay,
If you want joiners, or you guys can do your own private trip.
sure. How much more are we looking in price? I know
Mm,
it's that
I've
not
got
to
it
put
right
you on the
here.
spot with an exact amount, but just the idea.
So I don't have 2 plus, I've got 4 plus. So 4 people is 35.95.
Okay,
So two is probably, going to be about, I don't know, 37.95 or 38.95.
okay. It's not a great deal amount more.
Well, don't quote me on that, but you and I can talk
Sure,
offline.
sure, absolutely.
Hi, Carrie. This is Kirsta.
Hi, Krista.
Um, Given the elevation and variable weather,
Mhm.
do you do the trek having available crampons, microspikes, snowshoes?
It's not even it's not even on our gear list because if it snowed, it would be the kind of snow that you would be able to just walk in your boots on. It would not be anything that would even necessitate micro spikes. Um,
Okay,
but I like that you recognize that you're in the mountains and it very well could get a dusting of snow in July.
thanks.
Mhm. Sometimes people ask about water. Are they responsible for, filtering their own water? No. We camp always near a water source, and our staff is responsible for going and hauling the water, and we boil it and then we chemically treat it. It's available for you when you get into camp in the afternoon, all throughout the evening and into the next morning before you leave for your hike for the day. But you do need to carry as much water for the day that you will need for that hike for that day. We're not stopping and filtering water along the way. Also, sometimes people ask about dietary restrictions or preferences. We can meet most needs. We do vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free. If you have anything beyond that, just ask us and we'll let you know if we can help out.
Carrie, is 17,000 feet the max elevation? I think you said that was like one of the highest passes.
That
So is
that
that
that's the
that's
max.
max?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And how many miles a day roughly are you hiking?
Um, 6 to 8.
Okay.
Carrie, speaking of water, I had a quick question. I drink a lot of water at elevation because I usually take Diamox,
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
um, are the campsites usually near a water source? Because I just got one of those new small little Katadyn collapsible filter bottles, so I can filter extra water for myself, whatever. So you're generally near a water
Yep.
source when at the end of the day.
Yep. Absolutely. That's a good point, actually, about the Diamox. We highly recommend that everybody at least bring a prescription of Diamox, which is the diuretic that helps your red blood cells oxygenate better in higher elevations. It's up to you whether you want to take it or not, but we highly recommend everybody bring it. And we experienced that about 95% of our hikers do take Diamox, and it helps them a lot in the higher elevations. Also, people always ask about the coca tea leaves, and that is very, very traditional in Peru to drink coca tea. It is not cocaine. In order to get cocaine, you have to process it a lot. So you would never get high like you would for cocaine, but your body will be aided because it is a more natural diuretic that helps the same way that the medication does. So we have that there too. You will notice that all of our staff will be drinking tea and they will be chewing it. It's a very, very common thing, and it goes back to the Incas. It's something they discovered a long time ago, and they are better for it. They're much more well acclimated.
And do you have anything like a I don't know, success rate of people that are able to stay on the trek the whole time? And
Yeah,
is that
so we always have a plan B, C, and D, and there always is an evacuation route and way that we can get people out. Um, I don't like have the particular hard numbers, but off the top of my head, it is 95%. Because we're taking it slow and we do our acclimatization in Juarez before we start. And people can always hop on that horse if they're having a trouble for that day. And usually what happens is that they get through that day and then their body catches up and they rest and they're fine for the rest of the time. So it's a very high success rate.
great? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of other common questions that people sometimes have. There's no visa needed for Peru. You just come in and give them your passport. Make sure your passport is up to date at least 6 months after the end of the program. Can't
Yeah,
think of.
Carrie.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah, hi. How does this one compare to the high passes of was it Salcante? I mean, are the passes about the same height, or are they uh even higher on this one?
Yeah, so the high passes of Salcantay, there are more passes on that particular trek. There are, I think, 10 off the top of my head. However, they are a little bit lower in elevation than the passes on the Huayhuash trip. So there's 7 high passes on Huayhuash, but they're higher than the 10 high passes of Salcantay. And the trip duration is less for Salcantay than Huayhuash.
So many mountains, so little time. I wish I could go on more treks a year. I've got that um, Nepal one
Annapurna.
coming up in October, so maybe 2027.
I hear you. I agree. There's so much. Okay. Any other last questions? Well,
No, I
if you
just wanted to
do,
get on to refresh my memory as to what I can't remember if I've been on a call with the Wash or if it was just a number of you did a webinar on a number of Peru treks, including uh, the high passes one. So I just wanted to kind of refresh my memory. So in case you don't do another one of these before I decide to sign up for something.
well, thank you for coming. Yeah, that the last one I did was it was like Embark's Peru treks, all of our different treks. Okay, if there are other questions, you can always email Carrie at embarkadventures.com or info@embarkadventures.com, or just get on our website and put a submission in there. But like I said, if you're considering this trip, especially for those dates or any date this in 2026, now is definitely the time to register so that you have enough time to prepare. Thanks for taking the time, everybody, and being curious and adventurous. I love it. And yeah, let me know. You can always email me if you have more questions.
Great. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
right.
Carrie.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks so much, Carrie.
Have a good night.
You as well.
Bye.